Good
Be
job.
Victor, Natasha, Julio. Where's the kids, Jeremy?
Two of them are just to my right, one of them to my left. So I'm surrounded as usual.
Turn the camera when you get a chance. I'll give my pal an
Okay,
artificial
we are
pet.
live. Joan, you ready?
Ready?
All right, I just checked the public comment sign up. So far, we have 3 people so far.
What a life. Look at how cute. Oh, look.
Dave, surrounded.
Oh, did I miss Orson and everybody?
Yeah, I
Good
missed it
boy.
too. I missed it too. Where is it? I don't see it now.
You're gonna have to watch the recording.
That's Marley. There's Orson. Like I always look so much bigger.
Calvin's the other side, but I got to do my job first. So Julio, with your permission, we could start the webinar and let attendees in.
Sure.
Thank you. And hopefully now everybody knows.
Now everybody knows.
Hello.
Watch your P's and
Hello,
Q's.
good seeing you, Nicole.
Hello.
Hi, Nicole.
How are you?
Good, good.
Good seeing you. What do we have? I think we're up to 15 now. 25 is a quorum tonight.
Mhm.
How you doing, Beverly?
I'm good. I'm good. I went to a doctor today on Avenue U.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It turns out that I need a neurologist.
Oh,
But we can have that conversation another
Yeah,
time.
so a reminder, everything at this point is public.
Right. We'll talk about that another time.
okay.
Okay.
Hi, John.
Hey, Pat.
Hey there. Am I only on once now, Julio?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Karen,
Julio, when you're ready to start, Natasha's going to call roll tonight.
Thank you.
And I believe we're still 7 shy of the quorum.
okay, I need to get a pad.
Come on, machine.
I appreciate the Mozart, whoever was playing it. If you join us at 5:30, you get a smattering of a heavy metal. We're still 5 shy.
Does Zoom allow us to put on background music?
Well, you could, I don't know of a function specific to that, but I could blast my stereo or my Alexa.
Iron Man.
It does. You can usually you can share your sound only. Which is something we should consider.
We probably have some talented board members with a beautiful singing voice.
have a feeling our taste in music is rather eclectic, diverse.
Somebody mentioned Iron Maiden.
All the better.
You're talking my language, Natasha.
I could have sworn somebody just said Iron Maiden. That's why I said what?
I think you're hearing what you want to hear.
All right, for September then, we're gonna get our Zoom background music ready, and then we'll launch it next after you come back.
You sure we're going to be on Zoom then?
Good point.
Uh-oh, you tell me. Do we have news?
I have no inkling on what's on Governor Cuomo's mind. As
You
of
were
now,
teasing.
for another week, we are allowed to have meetings on Zoom.
Jeremy, member Ray Acevedo is on as an attendee. He's on the phone, the 347 one.
All right, he should have received the panelist
I'm
link.
going to rename him because I don't like giving out
Yes, I know you like to rename.
I don't like giving out anybody's phone number.
Exactly. So,
So he'll rename him and then elevate him to panelist.
and elevate him to panelist. Yes, Ray Acevedo. Thank you.
Thank you. It's not allowing me to elevate him to panelist. I could remove him or rename him, but I can't make him a
Well,
panelist.
I'm gonna sign into Zoom and resend the link to him, the panelist link to him.
Thank
I
you.
send it to him. That's the
You
one I
should.
send it
No,
to
you
him.
shouldn't have
Send him
because
the attendee link. We're going to send him the
No,
panelist.
I send him the panelist link. The one
Then
I.
he should be able to sign in as you.
yeah, that's because you're already signed in.
Well, he's calling in.
So
Hold
we're gonna send him the link so
Okay.
he's able to join us as
Panelist.
he disappeared.
Well, he's calling in. Keep that in mind. Not signing in. He has to use the phone.
All right. Well, he disappeared as an attendee.
I just resent him the panel link, so it should just take a couple of minutes. If you could let Ray know to check his inbox and also his spam and junk box.
But he's calling in, so it still might be the same thing. He's not using the link to sign in. He's going to use the phone number to call in.
Gotcha. Well, he should still be able to join as a panelist, though.
He could join as a panelist on his phone. He just clicks on that link.
Will do.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily have to call in. He could join if he has the Zoom app on his phone, or
Yeah, he doesn't. He's calling in.
Julio, I believe we have it now.
he should be able to join on the phone. He clicks on the link that he gets from the Zoom with the panelist link. Hopefully, we see him in a few minutes. It could also be the version of Zoom that he has, Jeremy, that could be why you can't elevate him as a panel.
That's a possibility too. Julio, we have a quorum now.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to the June board meeting, the final meeting before our summer recess. My name is Julio Peña. I'm the first vice chair of the board. Cesar had a prior engagement tonight, so he will not be here this evening, so I'll be presiding over the meeting tonight. So I'm officially calling the meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm going to ask our esteemed colleague, Beverly, thank you. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance.
To the flag
Flag.
of the
United
States of
America.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
God.
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Beverly. And we will go on to calling of the roll. Natasha?
Okay. So everyone is going to be muted right now. When I call your name, please unmute yourself and just announce that you are present. Grizel Amador. Genesis Aquino.
Oh my God.
Everyone, please stay muted until I call your name. Thank you. Genesis Aquino. Alexa Aviles. Nicholas Azadian.
Apologies, but there's still somebody with some background.
Nicholas
No, that's
Azadian.
Natasha's fan. She's the only one.
Nicholas Azadian. Joan Body.
Here.
Thank you. Stacy Boyd. Stacy Boyd.
Sorry, here.
Thank you, Stacy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can mute yourself again. Gladys Bruno.
Present.
Hi,
Thank
everyone.
you, Gladys. You can mute yourself now. Jalixa Campasano.
Present.
Thank you. Joseph Canali.
Present.
Denny, whoops. Justin Collins. Beatrice DeSapio.
Present.
Thank you, B. David Estrada.
Present.
Thank you. Cynthia Felix.
Present.
Thank you. John Fontillis.
I'm here.
Thank you. Ken Fung. John Garcia.
Here.
Thank you, John. Anthony Giglio. Cynthia Gonzalez.
Here.
Hector, thank you, Cynthia. Hector Gonzalez.
Here.
Thank you. Kenny Guan. Zachary JC.
I'm here. Kenny Guan
Natasha,
here.
did you accidentally miss Nicole Huang?
I didn't get to her yet.
You up to Zach, though?
Natasha, you got me, Kenny Guan?
Yes, I got you, Kenny.
Thank you.
Oh, I may have missed her. Nicole, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. John Johnston.
Here.
Thank you. Sandra Alfonso. Sandra. Okay. Ray Acevedo. I believe attendees can't speak, right? No. I don't see him on the attendee list no more.
I'm looking.
Okay. Beverly Kleiman.
Present.
Thank you. Wyco.
Yes.
That's Wyco.
Yes.
Thank you. Barbara R. Lee. Christina Lem.
I'm here.
Thank you. Jimmy Lee. Paul Mack.
I'm here.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Antoinette Martinez. Aurelis Martinez. Marilyn Melman. Marilyn. Dan Murphy.
我可以緊會啊，你有咩事上嚟講？
Kenny, please mute yourself.
Kenny was just saying that I was here.
Oh, yeah, I got him, Danny. Thank you.
Thanks, Kenny.
Okay, Dan Murphy, you're present. Thank you. Gloria Rodriguez Navoa. Julio Pena, the third.
Here, and thank you for adding the third.
You're welcome. Then thank you. Ravika Rajgashan. Karen Rolnick.
Here.
Thank you. Pat Ruiz.
Here.
Thank you. Sam Sierra.
Present. Good evening, everyone.
Brian Slater.
Present. Hello.
Thank you. And thank you, Sam. Victor Swinton.
Present.
Thank you. Cindy Vandenbosch.
Present.
Thank you. Catherine Walsh. Fred Wolf. Cesar Zuniga. John DeLooper.
Here. Present.
Thank you. Let's roll.
Thank you, Natasha. Welcome again, everyone, to the June board meeting. We're moving on to adoption. David agrees. We're moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda for tonight?
Motion.
Julio, a correction in the agenda.
Sure.
John Fontel is here. I believe the land use committee item for the citywide hotel special permit will require a vote tonight.
Okay. Making a note. So noted.
Motion to accept it as edited.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second it. Joan
Thank you.
seconds it.
Thank you, Joan. Hearing no objections, the motion to adopt the agenda passes unanimously. Now I'd like to move on to the adoption of the minutes of the board meeting of May 19th, 2021.
Motion.
Heard a motion to adopt the agenda from Pat Ruiz.
Second by Sam Sierra.
So seconded by Sam Sierra. Hearing no objections to the adoption of the minutes of the board meeting of May 19th. It so passes unanimously. Thank you. I'd like to move on to the adoption of the minutes of the public hearing of June 7th, 2021.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Thank you. A motion to adopt by Joan Body.
Second.
Seconded by Beverly Kleinman. Hearing any objections? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Thank you. Now I'd like to move on to public comment. If there's any public comment on items of the agenda.
So I know we have at least one who signed up previously, and other attendees can raise their hands as necessary. We had, and she's raising her hand anyhow, Carrie Finnegan had previously signed up.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Okay, so Carrie Finnegan, you could unmute yourself and you have 3 minutes.
Great. Thank you, Jeremy. Can everyone hear me?
We should be able to.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Carrie Finnegan. I'm the founder and head of School of Brooklyn Rise Charter School, currently located on 53rd and 5th Avenue, above the Rite Aid. If you've seen us, that's where we are. I would like to just begin by saying thank you to the Land Use and Landmarks Committee for providing us the forum for our public hearing last week. The thoughtful review and consideration of our BSA application for 222 44th Street was deeply appreciated. All of the comments and concerns that were made last week were heard, and we are actively working towards addressing those by providing additional detailed information, as well as continuing to do our due diligence to ensure that 222 44th Street can be a forever home for our school that keeps our students and families safe and healthy above all else. We will make sure to provide the committee with detailed, thoughtful responses to the concerns that were raised in advance of the planned September vote on our BSA application. Tonight, I just wanted to spend some time, the time that I have, which I know is brief, addressing some of the most critical questions and concerns that arose from the hearing. So the first kind of question that came up from a few members was, are there other options for your school to locate? And so I just want to reiterate that, it was 3 years of actively searching for space in Sunset Park. And it was after that amount of time that we did ultimately end up going to lease on 222 44th Street, because we do strongly believe that it is the only option for our school that will allow our school to relocate for school year 2022. We are in a race against the clock because we are currently located in 10,000 square feet of temporary space. In fact, our original plan was to host our school in this space for just 2 years and then move into a larger permanent facility for the 2021-2022 school year. However, Due to delays caused by COVID and the challenges of our facilities search, we were only able to find a space that could be ready for the 2022-2023 school year. So that means next year we're only able to enroll 145 students, and that's a reduction of our kindergarten enrollment. So typically we enroll 52 kindergartners each year, and next year, because of our limited space, we can only enroll 26, which is particularly difficult because we currently have 40 families sitting on our kindergarten wait list, 26 of which we would have been able to welcome to our school next year had we been able to be in a larger space that had room for a second kindergarten classroom. Searching for 40 to 50,000 square feet of space in Sunset Park is not easy. And as of right space that doesn't require a zone change proved to be impossible. So additionally, we also faced the challenge that we really believed it was important to have an outdoor play space, which complicated our search. And of course, that play space needed to be handicap accessible. And we also really hoped for a gym space because we are planning to hopefully become a K-8 because our families really would like us to be able to accommodate students through middle school, and that gym becomes much more important in middle school.
Carrie, I'm going to ask you to sum up. I accidentally put my timer on 3 hours instead of 3 minutes.
Oh no.
You've hit 3 minutes, so I'll just ask you to sum up.
Okay, great. And then finally, just additionally, in addition to the challenge of finding the space, another big concern that came up, which is of course near and dear to my heart, is the health and safety of what it means to locate a school west of 3rd Avenue. All of those concerns that were named are not lost on me. We would never want to put our students or families in any sort of danger. And we did have to go through a number of environmental and traffic studies before we even agreed to go to lease to ensure that students could be safe there. So again, just to sum up, as Jeremy asked, we will continue to take all of those concerns that were named and really provide the Landmarks and Land Use Committee in advance of September's vote with a lot more detailed information that can hopefully address some of those concerns and make members of the committee and the board at large feel more comfortable with our decision to locate there. So thank you everyone for your time. Sorry about that, Jeremy.
No, that was my fault. Julio, would you like me to call people or would you want to do that?
That's fine. Thank you, Jeremy.
Okay, I have Nicole Hernandez Hammer next, and you can unmute yourself. Oh, I just muted you by accident, so I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you to unmute again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Nicole Hernandez Hammer. I'm a biologist and the community environmental scientist at Uprose. I'll be sharing comments on behalf of Uprose tonight. I'll be talking on 2 different items, the waste transfer station and the charter school, and reiterating some of the points that we've made that we feel are really important. First, in regards to the waste transfer station, we stand in strong opposition to Waste Connections' application to modify their current solid waste management facility permit for the Waste Connections 50th Street transfer station to allow the handling of construction and demolition C&D debris, bringing one of the most polluting waste streams to an environmental justice community already overburdened by pollution and hit the hardest by COVID-19 and climate impacts. The polluting infrastructure in Sunset Park already includes 3 peaker power plants, 2 solid waste transfer stations, brownfields, the Gowanus Expressway, thousands of diesel trucks, and a cement plant, to name a few. Sunset Park is one of the top 5 Brooklyn communities with the highest lung cancer rate. It also has a high respiratory and cardiovascular hospitalization rate due to particulate matter exposure compared to most of Brooklyn. Asthma emergency hospitalizations due to particulate matter in adults is also disproportionately high. As climate change and COVID-19 present us with a new normal, we must take bold action to mitigate pollution threats, especially for those that are most vulnerable. This includes those in the hospital located just 1,300 feet from the waste facility, and the 7 schools and 3 senior centers within just half a mile of the facility. We also have concerns regarding Waste Connections' lack of a clear storm event mitigation plan. According to the recent community meeting, they indicated plans for the evacuation of tons of waste during storm events. Their mention of removing tons of waste by truck during storm evacuations causes deep concern in our community, as these plans could result in evacuation delays for tens of thousands of residents and thousands of healthcare facility patients. Waste Connections has continuously exhibited a lack of commitment to community health, Leadership and Engagement. On Thursday, April 22nd, Uprose, along with community members, demanded transparency of Waste Connections' outreach process for their permit application. Company representatives disclosed that they only sent notification to people living within a quarter-mile radius of their 50th Street address and included the notice in one weekly and one daily newspaper. The existing Waste Connections facility is located in the industrial waterfront, and a quarter-mile radius does not adequately capture the range of community stakeholders and scope of emissions, pollution, health, or safety implications for the C and D proposal. Unfortunately, Waste Connections has proven transparency and accountability is not a priority for their proposal and have treated permit requirements as superficial check items, void of integrating any community environmental justice concerns. Approximately 27 people attended the community on April 22nd. Every community participant at the meeting expressed concerns and oppositions to Waste Connections' proposal to bring C&D handling to Sunset Park. Waste Uprose, as you know, is working on the green reindustrialization of the industrial waterfront as part of the Green Resilient Industrial Plan. Am I running low on time? I'll move on to the
Ask you to wrap up, please.
Okay, I'll just go to the charter part real quick. We are also strongly against the variance application to transform 222 44th Street into a charter school. Our children's lungs are not sacrifice zones. Getting a good education and preserving our children's health must not be something we are comfortable categorizing as mutually exclusive. Building a school west of 3rd Avenue in the midst of an area designated as an industrial business zone is not even a notion we should be entertaining. We should all agree that toxic exposure to children is unacceptable. We must not be comfortable sending children with their developing lungs to a building for 7 hours a day, 5 days a week that is smack in the midst of polluting infrastructure. Citing schools in an industrial sector not only puts our children's health at stake, it compromises the preservation of the industrial character of New York's largest industrial waterfront.
Thank you, Nicole. Julio, I don't see any additional hands up right now.
Thank you. Before we go on to committee reports, I just want to acknowledge today is a board member's birthday, and I'd like to acknowledge Joan Body, and we'd like to wish her a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
So happy birthday, Joan Body. And now, so we can go on to committee reports. Sanitation Environment Committee, there's no vote required. I'm going to refer board members to the minutes in the board packet that was emailed today. Land Use and Landmarks Committee, I will turn it over to Chair John Fontillis.
Thanks, Julio. The Land Use and Landmarks Committee met on May 26th to discuss a citywide hotels text amendment, a zoning text amendment that's making its way through the city land use process. We had a presentation on that day by the Department of City Planning. Amy Jin, our local planner assigned to our district, gave the presentation, and she was joined by Barry Dinnerstein, Alex Plakis, and Anthony Grande from the Brooklyn DCP office. The hotel text amendment that is being promulgated throughout the city will affect multiple districts, commercial and manufacturing districts in the city, primarily to put in a new special permit process before a hotel can be developed on sites in those types of districts. I'll say right up front that most of the sites that DCP is forecasting that would apply to the special permit process are in Manhattan. However, as we all know, a couple of years ago, when the M1 hotel special district special permit was put in, it did provide a level of review and process that we could weigh in on for any new hotel applications that would come into CB7. If I could Can I share my screen for a diagram that was presented?
So John, I can make you co-host and then you can share your screen.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. And you can now share your screen.
All right, 1 second, everyone. I don't seem to have my controls. Is there am I missing something?
So I don't know what version you have, but you are listed as a co-host, so you should be able to.
Got it. 1 second. So can everyone see this diagram? It should say CB7 applicability at the top.
No, it's blank. This is a black screen, John.
It's a blank screen.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, here we go.
We have it now, John.
Okay. So the blue line represents the CB7 boundary. The areas that this special permit would apply to hotels coming into the district or proposed for the district are the areas indicated in the red color. And as you can see, most of the areas that are shown are in commercial districts such as the 5th Avenue zone between 47th and 57th, and the commercial overlay zones, which are the dotted areas, say along 4th Avenue, here on 5th Avenue, and on the north side of the district, 4th Avenue and 5th Avenue. And also within the area that is around Park Circle to the south and west of it near Caton Avenue. So there really aren't very many locations where this special permit would be put in place. And just as a note, everywhere that is also in gray was the area that was designated for a special permit in manufacturing zones 2 years ago. So essentially what the special permit does is that it allows our board to review any applications for any hotel that's proposed in any of these zones, either gray or red, requiring us to have a public hearing, a review of the site plan, and the ability to comment just in any ULURP application. So if we have any issues with the placement of the hotel, the pedestrian access to the hotel, the way it sits on the lot, any impacts on adjacent businesses, during our public hearing and our follow-up testimony with city planning and city council, we can argue for or against it, depending on how we perceive the application. As a planner, I believe this is actually a good thing because it does provide an additional level of review where there is none now. In those areas that are red, a hotel could be developed as of right, and without any review by the board, they could apply for a building permit and build a building if they meet all the zoning and building department requirements. If this citywide hotel text amendment goes ahead, any hotel that goes into these areas, the C commercial or M manufacturing districts, essentially throughout the entire district, will have to come before us for review. So we do need to vote on this. The vote will then be submitted to DCP as they wind their way through the process. The borough president will also be weighing in on this, and then it'll get to city planning and then eventually the council for a vote. So we did not have a vote on this in the committee. I felt given the impact of hotels in the entire district, it might be better just to bring it to the entire board for review. But essentially the notes are listed in the agenda. You can see the discussion. Obviously, a lot of people were concerned about hotels in the district being closed and turned into homeless shelters. I would say that is a separate issue. what this issue specifically does add an extra review process that allows us to weigh in on any hotel application that comes through. So if there are any questions, I guess I'll take any questions if anyone has any, and then we would vote on the amendment.
Any questions from board members? I see 2 hands up. Cindy Vandenbosch.
Yeah, I'm just curious if there was discussion that transpired like about what the argument would be to oppose this. So I kind of have an understanding, John, that this will add kind of a level of review that doesn't currently exist. But was there any discussion about what an opposing argument would be to this text amendment change?
Well, you can review the minutes. Most of the people in opposition to this were more in opposition to the idea of hotels coming into the district, period. That we have other things that we are more in need of, such as schools and affordable housing. But as I said earlier, any hotel that would be proposing to site in these locations that are in red currently can do it as a right. What this hotel text amendment is designed to do is to add a level of community review that is not there. Now, again, as I said, most of this text amendment actually applies to multiple sites in Manhattan, mainly because that's really the area where hotel developers can get the bang for the buck because of the size of the lot and the high density they can build in Manhattan. Here, most of our commercial districts are R7 at most. So you can't really build a large hotel here to maximize a profit potential. However, I think what DCP is concerned about across the entire city is that they don't really have a means to review hotel applications in commercial districts. And a lot of hotels, as we all know, that have been recently built have been a bit egregious in their planning and their pedestrian impact and their impact on adjacent businesses. So I do see this as city planning, hearing what multiple community and community boards have been saying for the past 5 years, and is an action building on what they did for the M1 special permit 2 years ago to add more commercial districts to the mix.
Thank you. I reviewed the minutes, but that was very helpful context. And perhaps in our, we could include in our response some of those concerns that people have more broadly, but they may not have that specific connection to this text amendment specifically. Thanks.
Any additional questions from board members? Oh, hearing none. I guess we can proceed to a vote. John, I'm assuming this came out of committee, correct?
There was no vote in committee. So this is, it'll be purely a board vote.
Okay. Since it didn't come out of committee, is there a motion on, can we entertain a motion to support this resolution or the citywide hotel special permit?
Yes, this is Zach. I put forward a motion to support this. Vote in
I
favor
second the
of
motion.
Thank you. Motioned by Zach, seconded by Joan Body. Any further discussion on the motion? Okay. I'd like to vote by unanimous consent if there are no objections. Hearing none, this passes by unanimous consent. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the Housing Committee, which lists a vote required. Do we have the chair of the Housing Committee?
No, she's not here, and the vice chair let us know she cannot make it tonight. Perhaps you should save this one for last.
Thank you. You're faster than me to the attendance list. So we will proceed to the Asian Affairs Committee, which also has a vote required. And just a gentle reminder, if you're not speaking, to please have yourselves on mute. Do we have the chair of the Asian Affairs Committee with us tonight?
So Paul before. Hang on. Paul is here tonight. Paul Mack? Paul? Perhaps he had to step away for a minute?
Okay. We will come back to Paul. We will go to the Bylaws Committee, which is me. So a couple of weeks ago, board members should have received a board packet with the bylaws in the mail. As per our current bylaws, any bylaws revisions need to be mailed 30 days prior. The bylaws were read at 2 previous board meetings. Tonight we will be voting on the changes as read in April and May. Are there any questions or discussion on the proposed changes? Great. Hearing none, since these came out of committee, does not require a motion to introduce. And I'd like to entertain, I would love to pass these by unanimous consent if there are no objections.
Here, here.
I'm going to take that as not an objection.
Yeah, I didn't take that as one either.
Hearing no objection, the bylaws revisions passed by unanimous consent. Thank you.
And thank you, Julio, for all the hard work that you put into this. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. And thank you to the committee. So I will circle back to, sorry, there's a lot of paper on my desk. I will circle back to the Asian Affairs Committee, Paul Mack. Going once, twice, okay. Or the Housing Committee, and I don't see them on, okay. So I will table those two discussion items to the September board meeting. Our apologies. And let's go to the second roll call. Natasha?
Bear with me for a moment.
Sure.
Okay. Grizel Amador. Grizel? I know she was having some technical difficulties. She's joining the meeting from Puerto Rico. Grizel Amador? Sandra Alfonso? If you are here, please unmute yourself.
I'm here.
Sandra?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Genesis Aquino? Alexa Aviles, Nicholas Azadian, Justin Collins, Anthony Giglio.
Here.
Thank you. Zachary J.C.
Present.
Thank you. Barbara Lee. Jimmy Lee.
Present.
Thank you. Antoinette Martinez. Aurelis Martinez. Marilyn Melman. Gloria Rodriguez Novoa. Catherine Walsh.
Present.
Thank you, Catherine. Fred Wolf. Okay, that's it.
Hey, do you get me? Tong
Fung.
Tong. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I didn't say present. I'm here.
Yeah, I didn't hear my name either.
Just sorry, we only call board members who were marked absent in the first roll call. So if you were marked present, you will likely not hear your name.
Okay, got it. Sorry about that.
No worries at all. Thank you, Natasha. And just for note in the minutes, Parks Committee, the meeting minutes are in the agenda. There's no vote required, so you please refer to the minutes in the board member packet that was emailed today. Now we can go to the elected officials report. Bear with me one moment. Jeremy, do we have a list of who we have present?
I just see the names. If you wish, I could just call them in order.
Yes, please.
So I have Donald DeRosa. Donald, you can unmute yourself now.
Hi, everyone. No updates. Just wanted to wish everyone a safe and healthy summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. I have Fazia Siddiqui next. Fazia, oops, sorry, wrong. You could unmute yourself now.
Hi, everyone. No updates from Councilmember Lander's office either. Just wishing everyone a happy summer as well.
2 for 2. Thank you. We have Melissa DeValle Ortiz. Melissa, you can unmute yourself now. Melissa? Melissa? We're doing well tonight, Julio. Okay. I think I've reached the end of my list. Natasha, do you see anybody else? I don't think I have anybody else who's a...
No, Melissa, I think we lost her.
Yep, I see she unmuted, but we can't hear her. And I think we're at the end of the list, Julio. Oh, wait, there's some Q&As. Oh, Melissa, okay, she's on twice. Melissa, you can unmute yourself through the phone.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. So, first of all, happy Father's Day to all the fathers, the grandfathers, and the adopted dads who stepped up and assumed those positions. So just a reminder that your early voting site may not be your regular polling site, and you can call 311 and go to the Board of Elections to find out that information as well as a copy of your ballot. Also, persons who received their vaccination within the last 6 weeks and moving forward still have time to report any adverse reactions to the federal government at www.cdc.gov/vsafe. On June 15th, the Senate unanimously passed the legislation to make Juneteenth a federal holiday, and the Congresswoman will be voting in the affirmative on that. And then as of today, we'll be hosting two events. One will be this Saturday at 44th Street and 6th Avenue from 10 to 4 for an e-waste collection event. There are flyers that we sent ahead, and for those of you who know me personally, it's also on my social media. And the next event might be cause for a little bit of a conversation here, which is going to be on Saturday, September the 18th, in commemoration of the 20th anniversary of the World Trade, together with New York City Parks Department, NYPD, FDNY, and the United States Department of Agriculture and Forestry here in Sunset Park. Some folks, and I honestly recently just found out that the park was selected by the New York City Department of Parks as the Brooklyn location for the Memorial Grove in commemoration of such, and actually has trees that are planted there from the World Trade, as well as some additional trees that were planted in memoriam to persons lost. And so part of that grove was intended to have a committee that was supposed to host various activities and events in the park in commemoration. And so the office will be making that lift. And we're hoping to have the collaboration with the community board and some other community organizations here in Sunset Park. So if anybody's interested, please do call our office. My number is 718-599-3658, extension 212. And that's it. Have a happy and healthy summer. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Victor, I see your hand up. I'm not sure if that's a question for Melissa or just a general hand up.
Actually, is anybody here from the Assemblywoman's office on today?
I don't believe so, no.
But, maybe anybody else from the elected official. I had a question about the ERAP center in the district. Do we know of any in the district or close to the district? I know it's online, but is there any in the district or considered to be put in the district? Does anyone know from elected officials that are on?
I'm
sorry, Victor, what's your question exactly?
The ERAP system with the Emergency Rental Assistance Program.
Right.
My understanding, there's not a location within the district where people can go and file the application to get assistance in filing the application. I know they do it online, but is there anyone know of a location within the district? Because I do not know where there's one, and someone was asking me about it.
Okay. Well, you can call, if you call my office tomorrow, I'm sure I can get you a location in the immediate area. Typically, any social service organization, Center for Family Life, is a really good one on 39th Street. Might be able to be of assistance.
Okay. I appreciate it, and I will do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. I also see Edward Sona, tired day. Edward Cerna from the mayor's office has joined us. So go ahead, Edward.
Hello, everyone. Edward Cerna, Brooklyn Borough Director for the mayor's office. Just hop off of Community Board 2's monthly meeting. So apologies for being late. Just quickly on the vaccination front, we've administered over 8,831,882 doses of the vaccine, which is almost approaching 9 million, which is amazing. A couple of weeks ago, we had Youth Vaccination Week, and during that 1 week alone, we administered over 34,000 doses of the vaccine to New Yorkers aged between 12 and 17 across the 5 boroughs. And so again, we're doubling down on that effort to increase the vaccination rate. And we are doing so by announcing the referral bonus program, which is for community-based organization, houses of worship, and resident associations within NYCHA developments, so that they can partner with the city, receive funding, and help people get vaccinated. And so if there's anyone on the call tonight that is part of such an entity, they can go to nyc.gov/vaccine referral bonus to apply for the program. generally speaking, if there's someone still that doesn't have the vaccine, you can go to nyc.gov/vaccine finder. Just want to also highlight that we are a couple of days into the early voting period. It's going to run through June 20th, and on June 22nd is primary election day. So, folks who haven't voted, please go vote. Also be aware that this year is the first time we're going to vote for important races, including the mayoral race, using the ranked choice voting system. So there's also some information on that online, and you can go to www.voting.nyc to see how it works and also, get general information about some of the candidates out there. Also wanted to talk about the announcement we made regarding Hometown Heroes Ticker Tape Parade. The mayor announced that on July 7th, there will be a parade in which there will be a variety of floats that each is going to represent a different group of essential worker who serve the city, very heroically throughout the pandemic. These groups are going to include advocacy organizations, city workers, educators, emergency food providers, faith leaders, first responders, healthcare workers, retail and bodega workers, social service and settlement house workers, transportation workers, and utility workers. So if you're in the area, please go check it out. Do so safely and get vaccinated before you go. Also wanted to announce that the mayor put forth this new initiative that is patterned on one of the great initiatives of the New Deal, which is the City Artist Corps. This core represents a historic investment in artists by the city of New York. The program is going to have $25 million that will support artists who live and work in New York City, and will support them and give New Yorkers opportunities to experience cultural programming across the city. And that's going to start this very summer. Just to sort of speak about the program will distribute one-time $5,000 grants to more than 3,000 artists to help them sustain their practice and engage the public. And it will begin again this summer, but will go well into the fall. Artists working in any discipline are eligible to apply. So the first cycle of funding opened on Tuesday, June 8th, but there will be additional cycles of funding coming online later this summer. If you are an artist, you can go to nyc.gov/cityartistcorps to apply. Other than that, folks, you can reach me at easterna@cityhall.nyc.gov, and wishing everyone a safe and healthy summer.
Thank you, Edward. And I also see Nancy Corona from the council member's office joined. Go ahead, Nancy.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I don't have any major updates. I just wanted to quickly provide an answer for the ERIP question, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. I just put some questions, some comments in the Q&A. Not sure if everyone can see them. But there is to my knowledge, no specific center in the district, but there are designated organizations throughout the 5 boroughs providing assistance. Also included a link from Brooklyn Legal Services Corporation A that is providing assistance, and they held a workshop with information as well last week. But if anybody has any questions about EREP, they can also reach out to our office or just questions in general. I think the biggest major announcement is that we are working on the logistics of reopening the office for in-person constituent services. So we appreciate everybody's patience while the physical space is being prepared. But more information will be coming out via our social media and constituent services newsletter. If anybody has any questions, you can feel free to email me at ncorona, NCORONA @council.nyc.gov, or calling our office. District office line is connected to 3 languages: English, Spanish, and Mandarin. So the number is 718-439-9012. That's pretty much it. Thank you, and hope everyone has a good summer.
Thank you, Nancy. Moving, Christina, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Hi, I have a question for Ed Cerno. Are you still on, Ed?
He is. I just allowed him to go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I'm on.
So my question is about the tribute. I was reading about the omission of the funeral service industry. Is that actually, has that been rectified? For the tributes, are they actually going to be included in the tribute?
I don't know the answer to that question offhand. I can certainly circle back. If you want to shoot me an email, we can touch base offline.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. So moving on to the district manager's report. Jeremy?
Yep. Good evening, everybody. I was just checking emails. Let me let everybody know that this Friday, June 18th, our board office will be closed for a very good reason. You may notice Maria Gonzalez is not here tonight. Her daughter Tanya is getting married that evening, and Natasha and I will be attending, not together, HR. We wanted to let you know why the office is closed. It's a very happy reason. Unfortunately, for my own sake, it takes several hours to make this beautiful and several drinks by my companion. So I need that time. Curbside, good news for a lot of folks who emailed us when curbside recycling went away. Curbside composting went away. Composting is coming back and is returning in the fall. They are changing the program. Now you need to sign up for it. So if you'd like to get curbside composting, you could go to nyc.gov/curbside composting. We emailed that to everybody on our list yesterday, so you should have received it yesterday. And as we get a little closer to that time, we will send it out by email and social media again. The Economic Development Corporation, their Sunset Park Task Force, is meeting on Tuesday, June 22nd at 10 a.m. And for the first time, this is a meeting that's going to be open to the public and available for public participation. It will be recorded and available for people to see, even if they cannot make the 10 a.m. time. Their commitment is to have future meetings at different times, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, and possibly even on weekends, to try to make it accessible eventually to everybody in the community, no matter what time they are available. We sent the link out for this meeting actually to our entire network today, so you should have received it from us today. We've received notice from the Department of Transportation that they plan to make 21st Street into a bike boulevard between 3rd and 7th Avenues. This is a replacement for the Open Streets program, where between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Daily, there will be no through traffic. Bicycles will be allowed, parking will still be allowed, emergency vehicles and deliveries will still be allowed, and community boards have no say. Speaking of DOT, Cesar, I had hoped Paul would be here to talk about his meeting, but I guess you will read about it. Cesar met the DOT Commissioner, Henry Gutman, almost 2 weeks ago on a different issue with Katie. But when he met him, he delivered a letter to DOT demanding that they delay the process for making changes to 7th and 8th Avenues, and will allow the 3 community boards, 7, 10, and 12, to meet and have input on this plan before anything is implemented, as is required by the city charter. They don't have to listen to us, but they have to give us a say. So that is what we are demanding of them. There have been 9 liquor license applications and renewals since our May meeting, and they're available in the board office for anybody who would like to review. and the police department, the police department statistics were part of the package that we emailed to all of our board members today.
Thank you, Jeremy. Normally, I would table the chair's report, seeing as I'm not the chairperson. But this evening, I would just going to say a few items before we move on. I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the new board members joining us this evening who have been appointed to the board. So I'd like to welcome, or welcome back, I should say, Ramon Acevedo, a new board member, Nicole Juan, John DeLuper, and Sandra Alfonso, who are all recently appointed to the board and will be joining us. If you'd like to introduce yourselves or say anything, you are welcome to do so. It's weird introductions, I'll say. Usually we're in a room full of people and you can say we can wave and greet each other, but in the era of Zoom introductions, this is where we are. But feel free to introduce yourselves and say a little something about you. No pressure though.
You could just unmute yourselves if you wish.
Well, oh, sorry, go for it.
No, I was gonna say welcome to the family.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, I just want to say I'm John DeLuper. I'm glad to be here and nice to see you all. I've gone to many of these meetings over the years, but I'm glad to now be a part of the board.
Welcome, John. Great. Thank you. Cynthia sent me a message that Ray says welcome. I know he's having some technical issues and will hopefully assist for the next board meeting, and perhaps in September, we may be having some different accommodations, but I don't know what the world will be like in the next 2 months because no one knows. Before I move on, I just want to mention a couple of, oh, go ahead, Sandra.
Hi, I'm Sandra Alfonso, and it's a pleasure to be a member. And I hope I can bring a lot of information and help to make a better community. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome.
Hello. So,
go ahead, Nicole.
Okay. I'm new here, but I'm not new for Sunset Park. I think just coming to learning more stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, and welcome. And before I move on, I just wanted to mention a couple of other items. And Edward had mentioned this earlier, but we are in the middle of an election. Early voting is currently happening until this Sunday, June 20th. To find your poll site, you can visit findmypollsite.vote.nyc. To learn about ranked choice voting, which is a really exciting new way that we're voting this year for all of the city elections. You can do so by visiting voting.nyc. You can rank up to 5 candidates, which I think is a game changer, particularly for the way that we vote in New York City. So I encourage folks, if you haven't done so yet, you can vote early. I encourage you to encourage your friends and family to vote early. And or educate folks on ranked choice voting. That is it for the chair's report. Moving on to any old business.
No hands up.
Okay, moving on. Any new business?
This is, I have new business.
Sure. Give me 1 second, Katie. A couple of hands
Okay.
went up right before you.
Oh, sorry.
No
Okay, got
worries.
it.
Cynthia Gonzalez.
Yes, my question is, as we're opening up in New York City, will we be going back to our regular 6:30 p.m. time for our meetings? Because a lot of people that are gonna have to be commuting from their jobs to, their homes, and of course, 6:30, that's like dinner time. So I would like to know if we have plans to go back to our regularly scheduled time, because I know for a fact that it is an inconvenience for people to meet at 6 o'clock when they're commuting, from their jobs.
I'm not the chairperson, but I will say personally, working in person myself, meeting at 6 o'clock is challenging. So I will say my assumption is that the meeting times will need to adjust to our back to normalcy, and I'm using air quotes for back to normalcy.
We
So
don't know when that's occurring yet.
yes. So I would say it's a safe assumption that we will likely need to change sometimes to make some accommodations. Pat?
Two things. To add to Cynthia, I would also like the board to consider, when we start going back to our normal way of meeting in person, that it would be, you will consider having committee meetings via Zoom, because many of the board members are part of so many of the committees, and having the board meeting and then maybe 2 or 3 other committee meetings during the week can be a lot on a person. So I hope they would consider somehow divvying it up, Zoom and in person. And secondly, I'm speaking as the president of the Boricua Festival Committee. I just wanted to formally announce again that unfortunately we will not be having a festival this year. So I just wanted to make that public again. Thank you. And have a great summer, everybody.
Thank you, Pat. Katie? Katie Walsh?
Hi, I think I'm unmuted now. Thanks. Okay, great. I sent a note out to CB7, and I know we've got David Estrada on the line. I was really excited about the open streets, that we have now for the fall into October. And I know there's a lot of others, being able to take advantage of open streets and being able to support
Isaac,
our...
I bought something.
Oh, hello?
No, go ahead, Katie.
Katie, I accidentally muted you when I was trying to mute somebody else. Katie, you have to unmute.
Okay, I'm unmuted now again. Okay, I will just restart. Sunset Park, open streets. I hope I get it right. 39th through 41st Street, 45th through 47th. And it was meant to be 55th through 59th, but I'd love Dave to jump in. It sounds like that part of open streets has been shut down. So I'll come back to Dave as a reference point in a second on that point. But for the open streets and Dave, maybe you can tell us about why and how that happened. But for the open streets that do exist for our community, we definitely want to show up. We want to support our small businesses. We want to support people to use the streets. And so I'm really excited, would love to invite people, on your own to go and attend and maybe meet your friends for dinner and hang out and have a little picnic. But also to say that we'll share around a link which is really just, some neighbors getting together to say the Sunset Park Open Streets community coalition. So what we want to do is have volunteers who can really make the streets festive and fun, to kind of amplify and boost any of the work that the Sunset Park bid is already planning. I know that there's already some support and folks who are trying to check on safety, but this is a big problem with cars coming in and scooters rushing in, and we do have little ones who are playing. We want to increase that, right? And so we'll send around a Google link basically to invite you to come if you can volunteer for an hour or two. Maybe you can come and stand at near a barricade as a community neighbor. You can tell people what it is, and then maybe you can help and you can table. You have some ideas. So we're really just trying to increase the participation among open streets. But again, if Dave, if you're still on, could you talk about how the open streets bid is not running anymore from 55th to 59th?
Sure.
Putting you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're anyone who's on this call and anyone you talk to and anyone in the community is welcome to come down and just enjoy the open streets. We had tried to double our footprint for open streets this year compared to last year. And between 55th and 59th in May and the early weeks of June, we did run closures. But the storefront businesses and the restaurants on those blocks reported that they had a drop in business. And we're very sensitive to that, even though we're trying to create open space for play and entertainment and social distancing. The businesses up there could not withstand it. So we focused instead on 45th to 47th, as Katie mentioned correctly, thank you. And also 39th to 42nd, where we'll have programming throughout the summer through to October 30th. We had the Brooklyn Public Library. Roxana has been out reading books to kids. We've had Drag Queen Story Hour and something called Street Labs that lets the kids create art on the street with chalk. Voces Ciudadanas has been out helping with homework. Sunset Park Rocks is out helping kids do art. We'll also have on the 26th, Mixteca organization will have over 10 service organizations, a vaccine bus, folklorical dancing, and many other programming going on between 39th and 42nd. The main message here is we're trying to sustain as a little bid with no city funding for this. We're trying to sustain the idea of creating public space for people for a few brief hours Saturday, allow cars to move through on cars or bus traffic to move through. Volunteers are more welcome, and we're really looking forward to continuing this through October 30th. I'm available personally if anyone has questions. We have also been designated an open boulevards street, which the Department of Transportation thinks is a thing, but only 2 places in Brooklyn got that. And it means we'll have some stages and entertainment and other resources that are coming to the city, from the city, to support our activities on the streets. So that's the down low on open streets, and I hope you'll be able to support it. Come out and enjoy a meal, do a little shopping, just breathe a little bit when there are no cars, and we'll keep trying. We're in there plugging. I want to acknowledge we raised over $10,000 from community contributions by a GoFundMe to support this because we have so far received no city funding to run any of these programs. And I hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Katie. Cynthia Gonzalez.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to say about the open streets and stuff. I really have always supported this when it came to our street fairs and whatever. But ever since the pandemic, that the fact that people have put out those shelters so that people can eat outside and what have you, that has taken away parking, which is essential for the businesses on the avenue There's nowhere for people to park when they're coming to shop in our area, in our business district. There's no parking. And not only for the shoppers, but as we're opening up the city, there is no place for our family, our relatives to come to visit us when they can't because there is no parking. My brother came all the way from New Jersey to visit me and had to leave because there was no parking. He could not leave his car. So, you know, like as people are trying to get together again with their families, if there's no place for the family to, there's no parking to begin with. And now it's like far worse. My brother had to, he tried to get parking all along 3rd Avenue, all along the side streets. It was like there was no place to park because the streets were closed. So I don't understand, you know, like how we're gonna have family reunification when there's no place for our family to come to visit because there's no parking. You know, I mean, I could see if it's local, you know, you live in a different part of the borough, you live in another community, you can always take transportation. But when you're coming from out of state, there's nowhere to park. And that's very concerning to me because, first of all, there's no parking for people to go and shop to support our businesses because of those outside locations. And also, there's no place for families to visit unless they can walk here. So I just wanted to put that out. It's not that I'm against the open streets. That's fine when it comes to like a fair or something. But when it becomes a regular part of the community, I don't see how our businesses are going to thrive or how our families are going to be, you know, reunited. I'm just putting that out.
Thank you, Cynthia. I'd like to move on to public comment. I know there were some members of the public who pre-signed up. Jeremy, if I could just ask for your assistance.
Oh, so I don't have that sheet. I'm sorry. Natasha, do you have the sheet?
Hold on 1 second. Let me just bring it up.
And we have 4 hands up as well, and 1 person in the Q&A asked to speak as well.
Thank you.
Just give a moment to bring it up, and then I can see who.
And the person in the Q&A raised their hands anyhow.
Okay, we have Winifred Lee. Is Winifred Lee still here in the meeting?
Yes, her hand is up. She had signed up earlier. Julio, should we call her first?
Yes, please.
Winifred, you could unmute yourself.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, I will not take up the whole 3 minutes. My name is Winifred Lee, and I work with the Farmers Market, Grow NYC's Farmers Market program. And I just wanted to remind everybody that the 4th Avenue Sunset Park Market, which is on 4th Avenue and 59th Street, between 59th Street and 60th Street, will reopen right after July 4th. So it will reopen on July 10th. And it's actually celebrating its 20th year in that location. So we're really excited for that. And as well, many of you already know that there's also the market that's on 7th Avenue and 44th Street that has been going year round. And we're really excited to be there again. And for the city and Sunset Park to continue to reopen. And then my coworker also has, I think, spoken about the Bartel Pritchard green markets, where we have 2 of them in the neighborhood on Wednesdays and Sundays. So we look forward to seeing you all out there, and I hope you all enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Jeremy or Julio, do you want me to call the next person for public comment?
Yes, please.
Okay, the next person I have is Vanessa Cordero. You please unmute yourself.
Vanessa, you could unmute now.
Hi everyone. My name is Vanessa Cordero. one of my questions is, I have grown up all my life on 55th Street between 2nd and 3rd, which is across the street from what used to be Lutheran Hospital, is now NYU. And I've noticed maybe like within the last 10 years that they closed down the street on 55th between 2nd and 1st. And during high congested traffic area times, 2nd Avenue, with the police going to the hospital, with EMS responding to the hospital, taxis dropping people off, it causes a lot of backup in traffic. And I'm just wondering as to why NYU has closed down that street when it can divert a lot of traffic away from in front of, well, that's not technically in front of the hospital, but it's in front of the ER, because the entrance is technically on the side, it's on 55th Street, closer to 1st Avenue. Another problem that we have on that block is the bus speeding down the block, as well as cars trying to make the light. And there's a park right there. So my family members, I've gone to that park all my life, and it's a dangerous area. And I just don't understand why even the ambulance rushing down to go to the hospital, it's not a safe area. And I want to know, is there anything that we can do to fix all of this? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Vanessa, you could call me at the office tomorrow or email us at any time, and I'll be happy to chat with you about that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, the next person for public comment is Maria Roca.
Here we are. Good evening, everyone. I have one particular comment, a question more. Like, will this committee that is information, as I understand it, a committee to support open streets, will the committee be accessible and interactive for comments and suggestions to improve safety within the areas, the closed areas? Certainly last year and now again this summer, between 39th and 41st, I have personally, and many other neighbors have personally witnessed a serious lack of, a great disrespect from even the bikes, the delivery bikes from the businesses on from 39th to 41st, to respect the pedestrians, the children that are innocently playing out in the street, and they come barging in, cut through the barriers, and when they're told, please, get off your bike, they insult everyone in whatever language they speak. They, those who may move out of the street and jump on the sidewalk, and it's a free-for-all. So my question again, will the committee be able to help with that? And has the 72nd precinct made any commitments to add surveillance and enforcement to the closed, to the open streets? So 2 questions.
Thank you, Maria. Go ahead, Natasha.
Okay, next is Tom Murphy.
Oh, no.
Tom, you can unmute yourself now.
Good evening. My comments from what has gone on before, I have a few things, but my first and foremost, this week, the school project at 43rd and 4th closed down the 4 lanes of 4th Avenue southbound to 1 lane, causing a backup of about a quarter mile, maybe a half a mile. in that direction in the evening. Has anybody looked at this? There's one lane for pedestrians. There's one lane taken over by the project, one lane taken over by the bike lane, and one lane left for traffic. This used to be a 3-lane through street, and it is one of 3 through streets in Sunset Park that go on this corridor. Tonight I see a sign saying the project will not be complete for 2 years. That means this Fakaktan situation is untenable. I also have a comment about the Fifth Avenue open street. Does anybody at the BID remember that in the last rezoning, the BID applied for an increase in the length of the zoning for Fifth Avenue? They wanted more of the regional shopping streets. If that designation assumes parking so that buyers from outside the area can access the shopping area, and for someone to close down that thing, it doesn't make sense. That's it.
Thank you, Tom.
Next is George Cardona. George, if you're still on, please unmute yourself.
George, you're unmuted. You can talk.
Can you hear me?
Very low. If you could speak up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Still very low.
Okay, how about now?
It's pretty much the same. I'd say do your best.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best, thank you. Regarding the open streets, part of the open street problem with parking that somebody brought up is the city bike lanes that are being built on every other block. If you want a little better parking, I think there's too many city bikes. Maria Broca brought up the thing about bike lanes. On 4th Avenue, I don't know why you have cars, bike lane, and then the sidewalk. Because when you park your car and you try to cross that little bike lane, some of these bikes go a lot faster than cars. And Maria is right. I have actually talked to people and gotten the finger of these guys zooming through. And that's just an accident waiting to happen. And I hope nobody gets hurt. I think they should switch it, make it the bike lane, then the parking, and then the sidewalk. Because by having that gap there, when cars try to make a right turn, there's a blind spot. And a lot of these bikes ride with no helmets and headphones on. And it's dangerous for both parts. And I'm a bike rider. So when I drive and I see a bike, I slow down, I let them go straight, I let them turn. I don't want to hit anyone. That would be a horrible feeling. But there got to be common sense on both sides. And I think the bike lanes need to be fixed. Bike lane, parking spot, and then the sidewalk. Because you park your car, you try to grab your groceries and go across that bike lane, and it's dangerous. And Maria is right, and other people have done it. When these people just have an attitude, it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna be an issue. But thank you for listening, and I hope everybody is safe and healthy.
Thank you, George.
Next is Carrie Finnegan. She looked like she lowered her hand. Maria Roque, I see you have your hand raised. Did you want to speak again? Oh, Carrie's back on. Hold on 1 second, Maria. Carrie Finnegan?
Yeah, so sorry. I thought that was me unmuting myself. Yeah, I just wanted to use, I know I spoke earlier, so I'll definitely try to keep it brief. But just going back to our school, Brooklyn Rise Charter School, and our application that is being reviewed and voted on in September by the Land Use Landmark Committee for the 222 44th Street building. Just in response to the representative from Uprose, and again, I really appreciated the feedback and the comments, because of course, again, the health and safety of our students and family is of the utmost importance. But I just wanted to make a couple of quick notes, one of which is that the School Construction Authority just located a brand new school, PS 939, that is a lot closer to the Gowanus Expressway west of 3rd Avenue. And they, cited that school there because they did deem that it was safe to have a school there, which in part helped us feel that we could also locate a school west of 3rd Avenue. Additionally, PS1, which is on 49th between 3rd and 4th Avenue, is about the same distance as the school that we're trying to cite at 222 44th Street is from the Gowanus. It's just east instead of west. But our initial kind of air quality investigations and findings there actually find that the air quality directly east of the Gowanus Expressway often is worse than west, because when you're west of the Gowanus, you are closer to the water, so you do benefit from some of those Atlantic breezes that help increase circulation. And then the last quick point that I will make is that though I do understand the manufacturing industrial use that, of course, has been west of 3rd Avenue for so long, and we respect that, of course, but there is a lot of mixed use there as well, including commercial and residential. So we do really believe and feel strongly that it is not completely out of the ordinary and would not be unsafe or unhealthy for our school to locate there. We look forward to providing more information and more details and really making sure that our due diligence is made kind of clear to the committee in advance of the vote. But that is just the last thing that I wanted to say. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. Hold on. I have Nicole Hernandez Hammer. Nicole, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Thank you. I just wanted to add to some of the comments I had made before. We had some research done a few years back in partnership with scientists from RAND, Pratt, and Lifeline. And this was part of an NIH-funded study. And they found significant levels of 4 principal polluting components in the area surrounding the proposed site. These include lead and lead compounds, naphthalene phthalates, and ethylene glycol. Also, by placing the school in an area that's particularly vulnerable, and I'm sorry, just to be clear, this is in response to the charter school. By placing the school in an area that's particularly vulnerable to storm surge, we not only risk delaying access to education after a storm event, which in itself is harmful to students' progress, but you also compromise the resiliency of a community that relies heavily on local schools for a wide range of support. It's critical to the future of Sunset Park that new infrastructure be built with an emphasis on adding to, not damaging, the growing resilience of our waterfront community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and next I see Maria Roca. You have your hand raised. Did you want to speak again? If yes, then please unmute yourself.
Yes, hi. I left a comment out, well, a request out of my earlier comment, and that is if there was any way to prevent cars from coming down 41st Street from 6th, and then and because what happens is that as cars are not able to make the right turn from on 40th at 5th Avenue, or the left turn from 39th Street and 5th Avenue, once they pick up on what's going on, they come up, particularly the ones that are moving eastward on eastbound on 40th Street to 6th, to make a turn on 6th and then make a turn on 41st, thinking, and and then they go around, and the traffic down 41st Street then gets all backed up. But what we have witnessed is people running the red light because they think they have the right of way on 5th, since there's no cross traffic on 5th and 41st. And then the cars, it's a free for all. nobody wants to yield, or they think the red light is not longer actionable at that point. And I'm not sure, something needs to be done, because there's also going to be car accidents. Again, the children are running around. If you pull back and you go up the hill a little bit, or you stand on the bluff in the park and you watch the area from above, it's one near miss, one accident to happen, ready to happen after another, the entire night. The bikes, the throttle bikes, the what do you call it? Motorcycles that just think, I guess they think of themselves as bike. I'm not sure what people are thinking or not thinking, but somebody needs to look at it, and we need the 72nd precinct, their experts on traffic and the DOT to look at this, because as nice as it is to give the businesses the opportunity to catch up and recover, it shouldn't be done at the expense, at the safety and security of the neighbors. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Maria. Moving.
I think that's it for public comment, Julio.
Thank you, Natasha. Moving on, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. I see B. DeSapio. Thank you. Seconded by Pat Ruiz. Hearing no objections, the June meeting is now closed. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your wonderful summers. Please stay safe. Get vaccinated if you haven't done so. And probably see everyone in a summer meeting, but if not, see you in September.
Stay well, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Go vote.
Happy birthday, Joan.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Joan.
Happy birthday, Joan.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Joan.
birthday,
Have a
Joan.
nice summer, everybody.